Brewers. I'm here with Nick Holt. So, Nick, tell us what's going on today.
Yeah, well, we're having our Big Brew Day. It's part of the annual Big Brew Day that's held across the world. Everyone comes together to brew around the 1st of the May. BABBs, we're doing this at Future Magic. We've got 4 different brewing setups, and we're making 4 different red beers. So this one is a Stone Arrogant Bastard clone called Cranky Bastard from Hoppy Days. And we've got an Irish red, a Rye IPA and a Scottish ale going as well. Really the purpose of it is to get people excited about home brewing, people who haven't been brewing before or are new to brewing, to come down and chat to people while they're brewing and learn about different techniques that we have and learn about different systems. And we have 4 different systems kind of on show, so we can kind of show low end to high end to ghetto to off the shelf. So
Cool. Can you tell us about this one here? What's going on in there?
Well,
this is a little bit different.
This one is definitely a little bit different. So we've got a 20-gal SS Brewtech mash tun here. We've got 14.5 kilos of grain in that.
Oh, right.
So we're doing a double batch of about a 7% beer. It's currently mashing. We've got the liquid draining out through a pump, then through a Herms coil that's currently sitting in what we'll use later as the boil kettle, but to come back into the top of here. So then it keeps the temperature, as we want it at about 67 degrees. So just using this as a heat exchange to kind of keep that temperature up.
So the coil in there is, the water in there is heating the coil, and then that water inside the coil is being pumped in and out.
Correct.
To keep that mash tun at temperature.
That's it.
Excellent.
Yeah. So once we've finished this, we'll empty this out, and then we'll start draining the liquid out of the mash tun into this. We'll rinse some hot water over it, sparge water, and then we'll boil in this, and we're going to hot cube today. So,
so no chill.
No chill.
No chill.
And benefits of this system, big. You could do a big beer in it.
Yeah.
This isn't really even, half full. So plenty of room for more ingredients, more grain, more liquid. We're doing a double batch, so about 46 litres, which you can't really do on these smaller systems. At home, this isn't quite my system. I've got more of an all-in-one system, but it's a good way to do it if you want to do multiple beers back to back, because as soon as that mash tun's empty, you can fill it back up with grain and start another second beer.
Cool.
And do a third beer and a fourth beer if you wanted to.
Oh, like a rinsing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done a video on Party Guy.
Yeah.
Party Guy brewing, so that sort of.
You can do that, or just a whole new beer with fresh grain. And you can kind of just do it back to back. So it's a bit more efficient time-wise. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This one, did you say this one's arrogant?
This is a Cranky Bastard.
Cranky Bastard.
Yeah.
and what's that sort? What type of beer is that?
So it's an American strong ale, and an American strong ale is kind of like a double red IPA. Much more bitter, not quite as big as a barley wine, American barley wine. It's kind of between that double IPA and barley wine in terms of malt, but about the same amount of hops as a double IPA. Yeah.
Okay, so big hoppy,
arrogant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Today we're using all the recipes from the Hoppy Days website and buy all of the recipes of the beers.
Yep.
And we thought we'll use that. Hoppy Days is a great sponsor for BABBs, so
So if anyone wants to brew this at home, they can get the recipe.
They can get the recipe, yeah.
And do the same beers at home.
That's it. We'll be having all 4 beers on tap at our July AGM meeting for BABBs. So, feel free to come down and taste them once they're finished.
That does sound like fun.
Yeah.
It's a good offer. Tell me, what is BABBs and why should people at home join?
Yeah, well, Brisbane Amateur Beer Brewers. The club's been going since 1977.
Yeah, right.
And we're a bunch of home brewers, get together usually once a month, plus other events. And we do lots of education, lots of competition, lots of tasting, and lots of social activities, all related to home brewing beer.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's a good mechanism. I think every home brewer should be part of a homebrew club. People who are part of homebrew clubs brew better beer.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. Cheers.
Yeah, that's good.
So we're going to do a yeast starter. Sean, I'm going to show you how to make a yeast starter.
Please teach me.
For the arrogant, no, what's it called? The cranky bastard.
Cranky old bastard.
The cranky old bastard. We are going with Michigan yeast from Bluestone. But we're doing a double batch and it's higher gravity. And so even though these come with about 200 billion cells, it's not enough. I think we're aiming for about 800 billion cells to actually pitch. So what I'm going to do is make a yeast starter, boil up some DME, cool it down. We'll add the yeast to it, put it on the stir bar. This still won't be enough. So when I get home, probably tomorrow or Monday, I'll make another starter and use the yeast that I've grown to then pitch it into a bigger yeast starter to then continue growing it. You can get all of the stuff on Brewer's Friends in terms of calculators to figure out how many billion cells you need for volume and gravity. So it's not too bad. This is just DME, light DME. I've pre-weighed it out for convenience. But generally you want 10% of the volume. So I weighed out 600 grams. It's not quite 600 grams, 60 grams for 600 milliliters. And that will give you about a 1040 starter. And that's usually a good amount for, yeast to kind of grow into. Just add water. So I want to get it up to that 600 ml mark ish. Give it a bit of a swirl to get it going. I bought a little burner. These Ermi flasks don't go on to any kind of like ceramic or electric cooktops. You're better off using gas. So I've just got this camping one that's pretty good. We'll get this up to boil and then come back to it. We'll let it boil for kind of a couple of minutes, and then we'll start cooling it down and putting our yeast in. The only reason we boil is just to kill anything in the water or in the dry malt. Gravity-wise, all the sugar's already there. So I just let it boil for a minute. And word to the wise, don't pick it up like that. Burnt my hand the other day doing exactly that. Wasn't paying attention. So we'll move it from here onto our little makeshift thing. Now we want to cool this down. I've just got a bucket of coldish water here that I'm going to kind of submerge it in to start cooling it off. I kind of get it down to a temp and then chuck it in the fridge for a few hours. We'll see how cold we can get this before we. It's not a huge amount of liquid, so. So it was stir bar. Ooh, stir bar. It's just a little magnet. We've got 2 rare earth magnets on this. This just sits there and this spins. So this will go into our starter and sit on the bottom, and it will spin, and it will just keep aerating and aerating and aerating, mixing and mixing and mixing, and it will really promote that healthy yeast growth. You don't need to have one of these. You could don't boil in a growler, but you could use a growler to kind of do a yeast starter and just shake it every time you walk past it. You don't need all the gear to kind of make a yeast starter if you don't have a stir bar, but the stir bar are pretty cheap to get and pretty handy to have. Alrighty. Where'd my sanitizer go? Ah. So we'll sanitize the stir bar. Plonk her in. We'll sanitize the yeast. I love bluestone because it's terrible. You don't need scissors, but if you need to use scissors, sanitize those as well. And get open into it. And we'll just tip it in. All the goodness. Try and get as much of the other stuff in there as we can. Kind of squeeze it all down. Any of the chunkies. And then we will come and chuck it on a stir bar. I turn it on full ball to start with. Get it nice and mixed. And that, my friends, is making a yeast starter.